What's good, YouTube? I'm Skylar Brandon. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my first book review YouTube video for January, and it's going to be on the book See You at the Top by Zig Ziglar. So I would definitely rate this book a 4.5 out of 5, and I am going to go into detail on why it ended up not getting 5 out of 5. But first, let's talk about the great parts of this book. So the number one thing that kept me interested in this book the entire time, which I really loved about it, was that the author will make a claim and a statement in like one paragraph, and then the entire rest of the chapter he will back up his case by giving real life examples of situations that have already happened, and he'll just tell stories over and over again of these different people and what they've gone through and how they applied the methods that he's trying to teach you and how it worked for them. I really love that because it keeps you engaged, it makes you want to keep reading, and the way the author tells the story is super great because it keeps you in suspense, and then at the very end he throws in the biggest game changer, the biggest plot twist, and it's just like a wow moment. Like, you did not see that coming. And sometimes it really does fill your eyes with tears, and like you'll have chills all over your body. That's how great of a story like the little stories are, and it's just really incredible, and that's especially thanks to the way he writes it. Another good thing about this book is he throws in Bible verses every once in a while to also back up his case, and I really love that because I like it whenever somebody can back it up with what God has to say about it. So my advice for whenever you're reading this book is that you can't hardly read it without having a pen or a highlighter or some sticky notes. You can see that I definitely went to town just highlighting almost every word because all of the stuff he says is such great information. Like, you'll really just want to soak it up, absorb it, and use it in every way you can. I really suggest not reading it on a time schedule like I was, because I wasn't able to fully grasp all of the things that he was trying to tell me because I was trying to hurry and rush through so that I can make this video. So if you take the time to read it, really take the time to read it, analyze it, look at what he says, how he says it, underline it, highlight it, write it down, read it every day, like the special things that stick out to you, because they really will make a difference in your life, because you'll be able to remember them better that way, as opposed to if you just fly through reading the book. Every once in a while you'll see the good stuff that he says, but you won't remember it whenever you look back on it, as opposed to if you wrote it down and read it like every day. So on to the reasons why this book didn't end up getting 5 out of 5 stars from me is because he did have a few flaws in the book that I didn't really like. One of them was he was quoting, "You don't drown in the water by falling in, you drown by staying under." But whenever he was writing it, it was a typo because he forgot the R in drown, so it said, "You don't down in the water by falling in, you drown by staying under." And then there was another one, but I forgot it now. And as a reader, whenever I'm reading, I don't want to be focused on catching your errors or rereading and trying to figure out, is that what you meant? Did you mean down or drown? Like, that's not my job to figure that out. I'm supposed to be getting the message. So I kind of didn't like that, but later on in the book, he actually tells about how he ended up having to publish these books, and on his own. He didn't have, nobody else wanted to do it for him. So that's whenever I cut him a little slack, and I was like, okay, well, in that case, I'll give you a break and I won't point out every error that you made. So I kind of quit looking for the errors, so I'm not sure if there's any more. But I didn't really, none of them jumped out at me after that. The major thing that turned me off of this book, it really disappointed me, because it had been such a good book up until the last few chapters. I think it was like the sixth segment. They're broken into segments, and the segments have chapters. So it was the 6th segment, I think the 3rd and 4th chapters. It was about habits, and instead of him explaining how to create good habits, he went into really deep detail on bad habits, and it was a really negative chapter to read. And at the end of the chapter, I was really upset and disturbed and disgusted, frustrated, angry, that I had just spent, you know, this whole class period reading this chapter that didn't benefit me at all. Like, and that made me, you know, a little bit angry, because why would I waste my time reading a book? This entire book was filled with such good, juicy information, and I just wasted this whole 30 minutes reading this chapter that was filled with negativity and harsh, brutal comments and just like nothing good. And I wanted something good, you know? And it was because it was nothing but his opinion. Like I said earlier, I really liked the way he would say something and then back it up with multiple stories and even Bible verses. But these 2 chapters was nothing but his opinion. And it was like, I don't want your opinion, I want facts and I want positivity. So, you know, I didn't like that chapter, those 2 chapters at all. And then the other thing that disappointed me was at the very end of the book, he spent like the last 20 pages talking about free enterprise systems versus communism. And that was a little bit of a letdown, because I'm not reading this book to learn about that. I'm reading it to learn about how to better myself and get to the top, because it's called See You at the Top. So I didn't really like that, but the last page kind of did get back on track, and overall it was a really good book. I decided not to let those 3 chapters throw me off and just throw the book in the trash, even though it really did disrupt me and really just kind of broke my heart, because it was such a good book up until then. But right after those 2 chapters, it got back on the positivity and how to better yourself and the Bible verses and the stories. And then after that was the entire 20 pages about communism. And then it ended the last page on a pretty powerful note. So that was this book. I mean, it's really hard to get over those 2 chapters. That's how hard they hit me, and that's how much it really disrupted me. But the rest of the book is totally incredible. I highly suggest you read it, because it really can change your life. If you actually take the time, highlight things, underline things, memorize it, actually apply it to your life. But yeah, hope you enjoyed my book review. Hope you feel inspired to go read your own books and make your own opinions about books. And I'll see you in my next video. Peace and love. Peace and love.